Welcome everybody. Today we're doing a mod so that we can, I don't know if it's called fixing it, but we're going to change so that when the bolt back on a 1022, you can just release it properly and easily. So normally you bring it back, you push this little button, and then it holds. It holds the bolt back. And then in order to release this bolt, you pull the bolt back, you click the button once, and then let go of the bolt. So it's like a multi-step process, and if you know how to do it, it's fine, it's quick, you can just do it. But if you don't really know what you're doing, you can actually get the bolt back and people can fiddle around and not even get it back. What we want to do is convert it so that all we have to do is, once the bolt's back, all we have to do, like a normal AR or anything, we just pull this back and let it go, and it closes properly. And that's what I'm going for today, and I'm going to show you guys what I did. And it was actually quite simple, and with very few tools. So Leatherman, literally used a Leatherman, chainsaw file, and a drill. All right, this step is pretty uncomplicated. I don't think I'm gonna like show people how to undo a screw and stuff, but you have a screw on the front of your gun, and you'll have a screw underneath here. On the bottom, it might be, I think some of them are Allen keys, mine are flathead. And it just needs to come and get your stock off and get your gun ready to work on it. So again, if you can't figure out how to get your gun out of the stock with those two screws, I would just put the video away and go to play Minecraft with your kids. So we do need to take the trigger mechanism out to get at the little locking mechanism bar thingy. So there's a couple pins here, 1, 2 pins. Apparently they push out easier from one side than the other. I'm going to see how much of this I can do with my Leatherman. Got my light wave here, over to taking the screws out, and I'm just going to see if I can kind of do the whole thing with my Leatherman light wave. So let's see if I can get these pins out. Okay, well they're pushing out super simple that way. So that is from the left to the right. That's the left side of the gun. And so I'm going to do it that way. Oops, there we go. So I don't know. It might matter which pin, so I'll keep them in order.
These ones here I brought out for the puppies too.
So this pin fell out as well when this came out. Goes in the back there. Not through the trigger guard. I guess it's for the bolt or something. Don't really know. You can tell. I don't know. You can tell. I have never taken this gun apart and cleaned it, so it's going to be a good time for it to do that. So whenever I take things apart, I like to make sure that I can get them back together again. So I'm going to, as I'm taking this apart, I'm going to be keeping track of how it comes apart. So there's a few things you want to pay attention to. There is a spring in here. Right in here, and it needs to go, the spring needs to stay underneath this little pin here. You're going to want to remember that when you're putting it back together. This is the ejector thingy, and this right here is the plate that we're going to be taking out and modifying. So we're going to have to obviously get this pin out, and I think there's a pin down here as well. So there's 2 pins I think need to come out. That one's already started falling out, and this one might not need to fully come out. I think it just partly comes out. So you partly take out the one for the yeah, that's the locking pin, but there's also the ejector thing here, and so this pin just comes part way out to let out that, and then this other pin can come part way out as well. And I'll also clean this. So let's just see here. So we'll push that. Let's do this pin first. Top pin. Yeah, I push super easy, like ridiculously easy. Like I'm pulling this out with my fingers here. So I don't know what's going to happen when this, I'm going to slide this. See, I don't know if stuff's going to go flying everywhere. What's going to happen here? Nope. That is locked. Okay, well, I don't know if that's supposed to be that tight in there, if it's because I've never cleaned it. It looks like it's supposed to move, but anyhow, so that's the ejector piece. Got that out. I'm just going to leave this pin and that screw there. if I can. This other pin down here by the ejector has to come out. Again, like mine are coming out with my fingers. If not, I would use your pliers or whatever. So let's just see. It looks like it's gonna come out. It's caught on something still, so there's a spring or something that's still got. Yep, I can see there's a spring on it right there. So I'm going to get that spring. Oh no, that spring's not on it. Yes, it is. Oh yeah, so there is a spring in there, caught on it a little bit. So we'll have to see. Yeah, so that's why I think they recommend you just take this pin right out pretty much. But I just want to make sure I can get it all back together, and I'm definitely going to clean it, like I said. So this is the piece that's out. So basically what happens right now is when this thing's in your gun, it sits like this, and there's the pin, the other pin that normally goes in here as well. So when this thing, when you lock it, right now it's stuck, usually open, unlocked, and then when you lock it, it gets locked like this, and the only way to release it is by pressing up on it, releasing the action, and then it goes back down. So the reason that is being done is because of that little tiny divot right there. So that divot is what's causing all this locking action. So if we actually just take the divot and first of all, we'll file it flat and then just do a bit of a curve up on it. And I'll show you from the end result. Insert it here maybe. That's kind of the idea. So this is the part normally that, I don't know which way this video is going to look, but I will move back. But anyways, that's the bowed up part that used to have the little thing on it. That part up. But basically you file it flat and then you go a little bit up. And you can, if you don't want to overdo it, take your time, reinsert it and try it. But these parts apparently are very cheap. So if you ever mess it up, you can always just get another one if need be. All right, I'm going to try to show you this. So I'm going to try to use a chainsaw file and my drill. Like a Dremel, I'm just going to stick it in there. It does, this is not a 7/16, this is 3/16, and it literally just fits in there. There's like almost no room, so I'm just going to quickly grind down that nub and then bring it over and work on that side of it. So make sure it's in there so it's pretty good. Oh yeah, it's gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna put it on 1 power because I don't know how much of a hurry I'm in. And let's take her. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but it's like butter. It's just grinding right down. But as you can see, it's already getting flatter, but there's a lip there that's hard, so I'm just going to keep working at it. Well, I've got it close to flat. It needs to come up a little bit more than flat, so I'm going to work on that next. That looks pretty bowy to me. So I'm going to try it in my gun. And I may need to take some more off. But that's kind of the idea. So this is the part normally that, I don't know which way this video is going to look, but I will move back. But anyways, that's the bowed up part that used to have the little thing on it. That part up there. All right, let's get her back in the gun and see how she goes. So I do still need to clean my gun, but I'm not going to do it now. Because I want to see if this works instead before I worry about all that. So first thing I need to do, so this pin, the locking mechanism pin is part way out so that this can slide in. This is going to, oh yeah, this spring actually needs to go on top of this little bar. So you stick this in first and push it back in this pin for the locking mechanism, or the ejection, magazine ejection thingy. Yes, these are all technical terms. So now it's in here. The little bar is, see, you can push it, pops up, and now it's not going to get hooked where before it was. Not even, yeah, so before you can see it in there. Can you see it? Not really. Anyways, you'll see it when you do it. Simple, simple. Okay, so then we're going to put the spring down, and it goes into a groove on that down there. And push the spring in there somehow with something. Like, again, I'm using my Leatherman. So I've used a Leatherman, a drill, and a chainsaw file so far. That has been the extent of my tools. So I'm going to push this down with my flat screwdriver and stick this pin back in. Goes in super smooth, super easy. The ejector, shell ejector piece is going on. Again, it's going to have to go into that groove, but I just got it there, and then I slide this over and just push that up until you get the pin back in. The pin just needs to be back in. Shell ejector back down into the slot, and your trigger's back together. This pin goes through there. I guess it stops the bolt coming back and forth or something. Coming back too far, so this pin slides in. So I think I've mixed these pins up. I don't even know if there's a front and a back anymore, so I'm just putting them in. That's locked in. And now I don't even need to put it in the gun to test it, actually. Just got to make sure the pins don't follow. So I'm going to test it. So I'm pulling it back, and I'm pushing up on the little thing, and it has locked my bolt back. So now this is the test to see if I can just pull the bolt and let it go. Look at that. Oh my goodness, you guys. Oh, that's incredible. That is what we want right there. One thing to make note, now that I've mocked everybody enough for putting this thing together or not, is when you're putting it in, the safety will get kind of stuck in the stock, and you got to put it kind of half and half, and then it will slide into the stock better. Every stock's probably a little bit different too. And then, of course, make sure that your bolt pin is in, because that's important, along with all your other pins. I mean, it should slide in just like a baby's glove, just like a glove, just like a glove. Oh, just put a little pressure, apply a little pressure, and then you're good to go. But yeah, that safety in the halfway position is important. Put your screws back in, and you are ready to go. Watch this, son. 1022. Nice, eh?
Yes, it's really exciting.